Well, this is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Wrestling, and this is my review for the February 4th episodes of AEW Rampage and WWE SmackDown. And I know you're probably thinking, like, hey, you usually go SmackDown and Rampage, but tonight, hell no. No, I'm not doing it. If you were following me on Twitter, and if you were following anybody on Twitter that was watching SmackDown, that was hot garbage. Yes, that was garbage. Not because of the wrestlers and any of the wrestlers that were on TV. Again, I never criticized the wrestlers or anything like that, but that creative, the way WWE creative put those wrestlers in that position was bad. Like, nobody came out of that looking good. It was somewhat predictable. It was repetitive. It just lacked enthusiasm, and it really, you left out of there after watching SmackDown. For me personally, I was waiting for the show to be over with so I could watch Rampage. And it's not because I'm a more AEW fan or WWE fan. It just got unbearable. So I'm gonna leave that at the end, and it pretty much wasn't much to talk about. I know a few people have tweeted this, that basically if you didn't see SmackDown, all you had to do was watch the beginning and the end. That was it. Everything else was just rematches and repeats from the previous week. So, I mean, literally, that's how this show was. But I'm gonna start off with AEW Rampage. This 1 hour show had more on it, more intrigue, and left you wondering, man, what's going to happen next week than the 2 hour SmackDown. And again, this isn't, because AEW is newer, and it's none of that. AEW fans or whatever stands, whatever you guys want to call it, it's none of that. It's clearly, this was a better show to watch. It was more of an enjoyable show to watch than the show that was on earlier in the day or the night. It's just that simple. AEW Rampage has started with Adam Cole versus Eva Uno. Adam Cole won the match, and he cuts this promo that, honestly, this was his best promo since he's joined AEW. And he touched on a new Adam Cole being more ruthless, being the best, wanting to run the show, becoming, wherever he goes, whatever promotion, wherever he goes, he becomes the guy. And he's going for that AEW world title. This is dope. A lot of people are kind of sensing where this is going. We possibly could get a Adam Cole Heyman Page match at Revolution. I would love that. Adam Cole gets the biggest pop out of anybody in AEW. Probably, maybe CM Punk, but that's kind of like mid right now. Not major, and not like, it's dying down. It's just there. But Adam Cole is just something about him people loves. That was a cool promo to start off the night. And it's not downing the WWE performers that were on SmackDown tonight, but WWE creative put those wrestlers in a hard position, because that one promo was more entertaining than what we saw on 2 hours of SmackDown. That's just my opinion. Then we had a promo from Jade Cargill. She was wearing green, and she's that girl. She is that woman. They are doing a very good job of keeping her relevant and making her look like $1 billion, not $1 million, $1 billion. And it's really cool to see her grow, and it's going to be really amazing and cool when she gets more comfortable and gets more experience, because, man, there's not only a superstar in her, there is a mega star in Jade Cargill. Then from there, we had the match between Isaiah Cassidy and Sammy Guevara. This was a fun match. Two young guys going at it. It kind of reminded me of the early days of TNA with the X Division. Like, this would have been a perfect X Division match in 2004. And it's not taking away 2004, but it just had that vibe where it was just like, man, this is, pretty cool. So Of course, we know Isaiah Cassie's part of Hardy Family Office slash, actually, it's AHFO, Andrade Hardy Family Office. So, Sammy Guevara, he's up top, wanting to do a move on Isaiah Cassidy. Andrade comes out. It's like, oh man, this is like, you didn't, like, they're together, but like, you didn't think, like, man, he would actually come down. It's like, whoa, this is interesting. So he comes down there, and Sammy, he's doing his thing. He gets the victory. Hardy Family Office comes in, and Andrade, Matt Hardy, they're beating him up, and Darby Allin's music hits. Darby Allin, like, this whole segment, you didn't expect Andrade and Darby Allin to come out. Darby Allin comes out, he confronts, like, he gets in Andrade's face, and you just have this brief, like, ooh, okay, and you have Andrade and Matt Hardy, and then you have Sammy and Darby looks at Sammy, kind of like, you're the man, but he's looking at the TNT title. So whether it's Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin as a tag team, or it's Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin fighting over the TNT title, that's going to be dope. There's a history there from the first Revolution in Chicago. That was a fun segment. Again, this is another thing that, this is a 1 hour show. This is already two segments on this show where it was very entertaining. The Adam Cole promo, and then this, because this was unexpected. The Adam Cole promo was unexpected, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is a twist. So, again, this was fun. So from there, we get a backstage segment with QT Marshall, basically saying next week Hook is going to fight one of his top proteges. When they gave the graphic for next week's Rampage, they did have a name of like Blake 4 or something like that. That might be the guy's name. I could be wrong. If you guys find out, you can comment in the comment section. But yeah, it did have a graphic when they flashed the Hook is wrestling next week. So then we have a backstage segment with Chris Statlander, and Tony Schiavone's asking her, hey, what's going on with Layla Hirsch? And Chris Statlander's like, I've been watching her and I see what she's doing, and this was a awesome chair shot. Like, this was just like, damn, like, whoa, like, these aren't, we always look for like these major, like, oh my god moments, but it's one of those things like you didn't expect to happen. You didn't expect Adam Cole to give this awesome promo saying he wants to go after the AEW title. You didn't expect Andrade to come out. You didn't anticipate Darby Allin to come out and make the save, and him and Sammy Guevara have like this brief partnership where they're taking on, defending Matt Hardy Andrade, and then you have this. So it was crazy. Layla Hirsch just laid her out. Man, that was a chair shot. If you can find that on AEW social media, I believe they do have it up there. Watch that. You're going to be like, whoa. It's really cool that they're using Layla Hirsch. Me personally, I would like her to either be in Team Taz or Daniel Bryan's faction, which they're teasing. Like, man, this is some good stuff. This is fun. This is some good stuff where, as a fan, you're like, man, I want to sink my teeth into this because this is really, really cool. Trust me, you need to check it out. So then from there, I always got to drink water, man. It's a lot of talking. So from there, you had the Mercedes Martinez Thunder Rosa match. This was a dope match. These women were laying it in. Me personally, I love the chemistry. I love the fluidity, the intensity, the grit, the physicality that Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa brings. It's that when you watch them, you're watching two vets just go at it. And it was so fun to watch. And the way this match ended was crazy because everyone said it. They're fighting outside. Mercedes Martinez just beating up Thunder Rosa. And then Mercedes Martinez just picks up this pipe underneath the ring and just whacks Thunder Rosa. Like, damn. And the ref called the DQ, and everyone's like, whoa, wait a minute. We rarely have DQs in AEW. Like, this is what? This is crazy. And, Thunder Rosa's out, laid out and everything. And it's like, whoa, this was cool. Like, it was a great match. And the DQ really didn't take away from the match, but it did add to the Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez feud. And then later on, we get further into this feud. But after that match, you had a promo just hyping up Serena Deeb and everything. Like, this is a really cool video package highlighting her as a very good women's wrestler, which we already know she is. She's a fantastic women wrestler. And then we get a backstage segment with Tony Schiavone interviewing Mercedes Martinez with the pipe. She's talking about, I came here to take out Thunder Rosa. All of a sudden, another moment you didn't expect. Britt Baker walks in. And she's like, no, you didn't get you did get some of the job done. I can't remember if she said pay or something like that, but they were talking back and forth, and Britt Baker looks at Jamie Hayter, and she kind of throws the shade like, yeah, you did something that someone else, couldn't get the job done. It's like, ooh, are they planting the seeds for Jamie Hayter to turn on Britt Baker? And Mercedes Martinez it got heated, and Mercedes Martinez gets in Britt Baker's face, and then Jamie Hayter gets in Mercedes Martinez's face, and it's like, ooh, like, this is a really good angle for the women's division. Like, this makes sense, and hopefully they should feature these women more on Dynamite and Rampage, because you have some really good stories with these women that's like, ooh, this is really good. This is acceptable. What we saw Wednesday with Brandy Rhodes and Dan Lambert, I hope they don't bring that back for a long time and do some kind of twist where somebody else gets involved, because that was hot garbage. From there, we get a backstage segment, of course, with Mark Henry and, Ricky Starks and Jay Lethal. Mark Henry does his whole, it's time for the main event. One critique I do have about Mark Henry when he does that, before he would take his time, he's like, now it's time for the main event. And the last couple of weeks, it's kind of like he sped up. He's like, now it's time for the main event. It's like he's like kind of speeding up too much. It's like, man, come on, take your time. But this Jay Lethal Ricky Starks match was phenomenal. No pun intended. This was great offense by both men. Ricky Starks, and I tweeted this match proves why Ricky Starks should be on AEW Dynamite and Rampage more. Because at the end of this match, and it's gone viral, Jay Lethal's finishing, was it the springboard cutter or something that he does? So Jay Lethal decides to he's attempting to do his finisher. So he does a springboard off the ropes, and somehow Ricky Starks flips him into a front splash and pins. It's one of the most amazing counters that I have seen on AEW in a long time. This was a dope match. Again, I recommend you guys watch this episode of AEW Rampage. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was only 1 hour. 1 hour. It was really cool. Of course, you had Dante Martin come out, and he just came out of nowhere and just started flipping and everything. But man, this was a really, really good match. Watch AEW Rampage. For me personally, Rampage, for the month of January, Rampage has been more consistent as far as its format and just being entertaining than AEW Dynamite. Dynamite has been kind of clunky. There was a few shows that were good, but for the most part, it's been very clunky. And, this past Wednesday, if you take out the Dan Lambert segments, it was a very good show. And it's ironic because when the ratings came out, the Dan Lambert segment and the segment that he had with Hangman Page both those segments going into the next segment, the ratings dropped. The first segment with Brandy and Dan Lambert dropped like 138,000 viewers going into the next segment. And then the Hangman Page, Dan Lambert segment dropped like 27,000 viewers. So hopefully TK sees that, because it wasn't entertaining and people just tuned out. Now moving on to SmackDown. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because it literally was a repeat from last week, with the exception of, the only exception is that this was the aftermath of the Royal Rumble, and last week was the the eve of the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns comes out with the Usos. Paul Heyman gives a promo, and I tweeted this out. Paul Heyman is a phenomenal promo guy, but I didn't realize this till today or tonight. And Paul Heyman has technically been in WWE since September of 2013, when he joined Punk in Chicago in September. And so from September 2013 to February 2022, that's 9 years. And the reason why I mention that is that there's a lot of people on WWE that have been there for over 9 years. And I think one of the biggest issues that WWE has is recognizing the times, changing with the times. You go back to the 80s, Hulk Hogan was there for, 1984 to 1993. Again, 9 years. Then he left on. And it just seems like with WWE, a lot of their roster have been there for 9 years, and it's time, it's time for them to bring in new stars, and they did it to themselves by not building new stars. Roman Reigns, he comes out and, he's giving his promo, and after Paul Heyman gives his the whole situation with him and Brock and Roman happened, all of a sudden Goldberg's music hits. So Goldberg comes out and he tells him, I acknowledge you, and you're going to be my opponent at Elimination Chamber for the title. So we have Roman Reigns versus Goldberg at Elimination Chamber, February 19th. It is what it is. You had two matches, Ridge Holland and Ricochet, which turned into, it was a singles match, Ridge Holland and Ricochet, which was 2 minutes, and then it turned into a tag match, which was another 2 minutes. That was basically it. Then there was a recap of WWE 2K22. You had Jimmy Uso versus, I think, Eric Rowan of the Viking Raiders. That was a 2-minute match. You had... Who did you have? You had Shotzi and Gulak backstage. Then you had Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss in another segment. Again, everything I'm saying has been going on for weeks, and it's not actually months. Then you had a backstage segment with a video package of Sami Zayn and the red carpet with Johnny Knoxville. Adam Pearce is there. Sonya Deville, Natalya. Then they book a match between Natalya and Aaliyah again. Then we have Jinder versus Shinsuke. Shinsuke wins that match. Backstage, you have Naomi and Sonya Deville again. Story never ends. Then you have a match between Kofi and Big E versus the Los Lotharos, and this is unfortunate. And the reason why I say that is because Big E and Kofi pretty much had the biggest babyface crowd reactions the whole night. And there was no mention of Big E getting his rematch or getting the title picture. He's back being a tag team with Kofi Kingston, which is like okay, so we got to sit through Goldberg fighting Roman Reigns, but Big E's in the tag team. Like, doesn't make sense. From there, you had Charlotte Flair come out. Boy. So she comes out. Sonya Deville, comes out to tell her, well, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey is going to fight Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. And then Ronda Rousey comes out and corrects both of them and is like, hey, nobody speaks for me. I speak for myself. And I'm going to challenge you at WrestleMania. So it's going to be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. And this whole show was off. Like a lot of this just was repetitive. It made no sense. It was just a continuation of what's already been continued for months now. That's really, you don't know where it's going. Some of it's like, okay, can you move on? It's just stale and stagnant. That's what it was, stale and stagnant. And what didn't make sense was it wasn't believable, was when Sonya Deville came out and was like, yeah, Ronda Rousey's going to select Becky Lynch for the world title. And it's like, but they just announced that Ronda Rousey's going to be on the show. Like, why would she, like, it's stupid. Like, why would they announce that she's here, and why would she come here if she already selected Becky Lynch? That makes no sense. It didn't. And that was pretty much the show. Like, I know many of you are going to watch this like, wow, it wasn't, no, this was not good. This was not entertaining. It was not good. We knew Goldberg was coming out. You knew Ronda Rousey was going to get Charlotte because of what happened on Monday between Becky Lynch and Lita. So you knew, okay, Ronda Rousey's going to go to SmackDown and challenge Charlotte Flair. One other thing that I noticed about SmackDown tonight, there was at least 3 to 4, I think there was 4 camera shots, and they were wide shots of the crowd. And it was, of course, the beginning of the entrances of the wrestlers coming out. There was no reaction from the crowd. They were just sitting there like this. And one of the things that I've always noticed about pro wrestling, and I've been watching pro wrestling for 36 years, is that every promotion that's been on TV since the inception of television, the inception of pro wrestling being on TV, they never wanted to show a dead crowd. For some reason, WWE has this fascination of getting a shot of the crowd with not understanding it doesn't look good for your wrestlers and your creative if you're getting a wide shot of this basketball-sized arena, which is like between 15 to 20,000 seat arena, and nobody is reacting. They're just sitting there. That's not good television. And I don't know what they're thinking for allowing that, but that is bad TV to have that on your show if you're trying to get people to, stick around, get interested. Like, if there's a boring crowd, why would I watch it? There's many NBA games where if there's a blowout and the crowd's, quiet, it's like, I don't want to watch this. If there's a baseball game that's super quiet and it's a blowout, it's like, I don't want to watch it. Same thing in wrestling. If there's no reaction from the crowd, why should I watch it? If they're not, it's common sense. If a crowd that is sitting there watching these wrestlers perform and watching them witness the creative that you've presented to this audience, if they're watching that and not reacting, why should I, who is sitting at home miles away from the arena and miles away from ringside, why should I react and have any care and put any interest into what you're presenting in the ring? It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, SmackDown was, this was not good. It had me wanting AEW Rampage to show. Like, I tweeted, I'm like, man, I just can't wait for AEW Rampage. I just can't, this is just bad. And it's unfortunate because you have so many talented people. On paper, you look at the names that are on SmackDown tonight, you're just like, damn, this is a good list. But somehow, WWE has managed to put on a crappy show. And that's bad. And remember last year, leading up to WrestleMania, it was the same crappy build. The only thing that saved it was good editing for the wrestlers and their video packages, and the fact that many people wanted to go to WrestleMania because it was the first big event since the pandemic started, and it was like, wow, I just want to get out and be a part of something. That's the only reason. It was very underwhelming. It was not entertaining. It was very stale, stagnant, and I feel sorry for those fans who went and attended that. Of course, the entrances and the pageantry of the WWE and just the spectacle, yeah, that's like, ooh, wow, that's cool. But at the heart of it, man, you couldn't pay me to sit in that arena. No. That is not entertaining. And I tweeted this SmackDown was probably the worst wrestling show this week. Yes, that's where I stand. It was probably the worst wrestling show this week. So it is what it is. But also, I do want to add on to this, and this goes more for AEW Rampage. Tony Khan, he was on Busted Open Radio, and he said he had a special announcement. So that special announcement, that huge announcement, is going to be next week on AEW Dynamite. There's a lot of speculation. He did mention the Forbidden Door, a wrestler entering it. Let's see what happens. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Again, this is a tale of two different storytellings. AEW, I'm going to read this list before I close out. You're anticipating, what Adam Cole's next move is going to be in regards of going after the AEW Championship. You're interested in what the hell this dynamic of Andrade and Darby Allin, how's this going to play out? How's this dynamic between Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin going to play out? You're interested in what the hell is going to happen with Layla Hirsch. Is she going to join a faction or what have you? You're interested in how this dynamic between Mercedes Martinez, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter is going to play out. And, of course, what else is going to happen with Ricky Starks and, the few announcements that they made as far as Hook being there. SmackDown, you know what you're getting. There is nothing on that show that leaves you with, man, I wonder what's going to happen next. Very predictable, underwhelming, stale, and stagnant. Tale of two different wrestling shows. So, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow to House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Dedrian180. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys had a wonderful week as far as enjoying professional wrestling. My message to you guys, enjoy professional wrestling. Stop fighting over it. You know why? Because you're not getting paid by these companies. So just stop it. But thank you guys. And yeah. AEW Dynamite, thumbs up. SmackDown, it was not good. I wouldn't recommend someone. I would not recommend it. I tried to come up with something clever. Like, it was bad. It was bad. And it's unfortunate that they are to that level. But we'll see what happens. But thank you guys so much. This was the House of Wrestling. I'm Dedrian Colon. See you next.